The first time that I remember knowing that prayer really works was when I was 6 years old. My family was living in Lehigh at the time, and something really scary happened to me. You may have heard about it on the news. I was in kindergarten, and we didn't live near our elementary school, so the kids in our neighborhood had to ride the bus for about 20 minutes to get to and from school. Well, here's what happened. One day in February, towards the end of the school day, there was a really bad storm. We got onto the bus as usual, but as we were heading towards home, the storm turned into a whiteout. There was so much snow that it was impossible to see where we were going. Our bus driver got disoriented because the snow was coming down so fast and so thick, and he couldn't even tell where we were or which direction we were going. Traffic was backed up because no one could see the cars around there. Our bus ended up slipping off the road somewhere along the Alpine Highway. Back at home, my parents were worried about the weather, especially when our bus never showed up to bring us home. Eventually, my parents got a recorded message from the school telling them that all buses would be returning to the school and students would be kept safe there. It also told them that when conditions were better, they would need to come to the school to pick us up. My dad immediately got in his car to head to the school to get us. He didn't know that we were stranded in the storm on our school bus, and he didn't know that it would be about 5 hours until he would finally get to us. A little while after my dad had left, my mom learned that our bus never made it back to the school. But when she tried to call my dad to tell him, there was no longer phone service. My mom was worried sick. The only thing she could do was pray. There are a lot of tender mercies that happened that day and details that I don't have time to share, but I will tell you about what I remember most about being stranded on the school bus. I was sharing a seat towards the back of the bus with my big brother Evan, who was 8 years old at the time. We were sitting by many of our friends and neighbors. At first we sang songs and played games, but after we had been on the bus for about 3 hours, we were getting uncomfortable and worried. A few kids were crying. It was cold, and I remember feeling hungry. I started to get scared too. The older kids on the bus were trying to help the younger ones, but what I had thought at first was kind of fun, what was a fun adventure, was becoming really scary. Then our neighbor, who was 10 years old, came over to our seat and told everyone to gather around. "We should say a prayer," he said. I don't really remember who said the prayer or what they said, but I remember looking around at my friends as we bowed our heads in prayer on the school bus, and I remember immediately feeling calm and warm inside. It is a feeling that I have never forgotten, and it is what sparked my testimony of prayer and taught me that Heavenly Father is really there. As my dad was slowly making his way to the school, after several hours of horrible conditions, he saw flashes of a school bus through the storm. He had no reason to think that we would be on the bus, but he could not ignore the promptings to get out of his car and check on the bus. You can imagine our joy when we heard a knock on the bus door and in walked our dad. I know that many people were praying for our safety and comfort that day, and those prayers, along with our prayer, were heard. I am so grateful for this experience because of it, and the many other times my prayers have been answered. I know that Heavenly Father loves us, and I know that He is really there. In Jesus Christ, amen.